All right, so it's been a bit of an interesting day, a spectacular war of words between the Defence Minister and Queenslander Peter Dutton and Queensland Health Minister Yvette D'Arth. You saw her at the top of the show. Let's get into it because my dynamic duo, one of them in particular, has a bit to say. Gold Coast, coming to me now from the Gold Coast, Sky News Queensland editor. Big promotion there for him. Peter Gleeson from Sydney, host of Chris Smith Tonight. Chris Smith. All right, Gleeso, you haven't long been in this new role. Congratulations from us. But I tell you what, you picked up on a huge yarn here. We had the story in the Courier Mail with ADF troops stranded in Dubai doing our work there in Afghanistan, unable to get back to Queensland. The WAGs and everybody else getting back in, but not them. Give us a blow-by-blow account of what happened.
Well, I tell you what, this government... renowned as having more spin than a Shane Warne flipper. They've been caught out today, Peter. They've been caught out today, and they did not like it. They did not like it one little bit. We exposed the incompetency, the hubris, the arrogance, the lack of compassion, the lack of empathy within Queensland Health, which we've seen on display over the last few weeks with young Memphis, the little boy from last week who hadn't seen his mum for 7 weeks. And, of course, we saw a little girl in Melbourne marooned also for 9 weeks. I received a letter a few days ago from the mother of an ADF soldier who has been stranded in Dubai for 3 weeks after doing wonderful work in Afghanistan to repatriate some of those refugees. And she was comparing the way in which the ADF personnel have been treated by Queensland Health with the way in which the WAGs, the wives and girlfriends of the footballers last week, were given that special exemption, the NRL contingent. And she was saying, these guys put their lives on the line. They've endured enormous, personal disaffection, and yet here they are sleeping on gym floors in Dubai and can't get back. Now, we had that confirmed, or I had that confirmed, by a senior source within the federal government last night, and we went out with the story. Now, of course, they have come out swinging today suggesting that it's wrong. Well, I can tell you now, it is 100% right, and what it does is when this government, who are on the ropes right now with their hotel quarantine protocols and their inability to show compassion and empathy, when they get on the ropes, they shoot the messenger. Invariably, it's Canberra. They're always blaming Canberra. That's an old Joe Bielke-Peterson trick, and it works in Queensland. But I can tell you now, they're not getting off lightly here. They have erred badly with this, because when you've got diggers, the guys that defend our country, the women who defend our country, over there being unable to get back, Peter, I mean, it is a scandal, and it exposes once again just how bloated, how terribly corpulent this Queensland Health Department is. They're running the show. Jeanette Young's not running the show. Palaszczuk's not running the show. Yvette D'Arth's not running the show. But when they get caught out, they kick out, and it's a disgrace, to be frank.
It's a bit like Perth, Queensland's a state. If it comes between the decision of the camouflage uniforms and the politician, the uniforms are backed into the hill. I think it's a dangerous move by the Palaszczuk government to look like they're on the wrong side of diggers there today. Let's go down to New South Wales, Chris. I'll bring you in. Interesting story coming out of federal Labor, broken by our colleague Andrew Clennell, reports that the former New South Wales Premier, of course, current ALP Senator Kristina Keneally, could be installed into a lower house seat at the next election. We're talking about the seat of Fowler, where the retiring member Chris Hayes is leaving. We all know the catastrophic failures, the electoral defeats, both in Bennelong, just recently in the by-election, but also way back when she was Premier, for Kristina Keneally. It's interesting, this is a 14% margin seat, so it's a safe seat in Labor terms. She doesn't live anywhere near Western Sydney. I'd be surprised if she moved, but what is it about Kristina Keneally? Voters don't like her, but she's a Labor Party lover.
No, her track record is not good, both in New South Wales in particular, but also federally, as we found out in 2017 with Bennelong. But I wonder what the Labor Party faithful in Fowler, so based around Liverpool, I wonder what they think about someone being parachuted in. It's a typical Sussex Street ploy, parachute them in from somewhere. Well, she's being parachuted in from, lavish Scotland Island, where the family live, which is 47 kilometres away, and that's as the crow flies. I wonder what the rank and file in Liverpool think about this. And can I just tell you, having come from that part of the world, they are very proud about their Labor Party. And if you go back many, many years, part of Fowler was part of Werriwa, which was part of Gough Whitlam's reign in his local federal seat in Cabramatta, I've got to tell you, they won't cop it. Now, she'll probably win because, as you say, it's 14%, but a drover's dog could win out in Liverpool, you know, in that part of the world, as they say. So, look, she'll probably eventually get snuck through, but I wonder how nervous Anthony Albanese is today about all of this.
You know, I'm going to do a bit of the homework for you because I used to have the list. I'll update it of the number of coalition MPs, National Party Liberal MPs that live in their seats or close to it if there's been a slight boundary change over the years. And all these Labor MPs that live, like Mark Dreyfus is a perfect example. He lives in the leafy suburbs of Josh Frydenberg's Kooyong, a long, long, long away from the people of Isaacs that he represents. I might lay that out for people at home one night because I think it's a very interesting exercise. Let's go to Alan Tudge. He's a member for Aston. He's the Education Minister. He's a Victorian. He's got into a bit of a heated debate on the ABC over proposed changes to the national curriculum. Have a listen.
This country, Anthony, is a magnet for millions of people to want to come to, right? Now, why is that? It's not because we're this horrible, terrible, racist, you know, sexist country.
Just to jump in, a lot of people, Minister, would probably disagree with some of those things. First Nations people have openly said that things like free and egalitarian may be something up for dispute.
I would ask you, name me a single country in the world at any time in the world's history which is not as free and as egalitarian as Australia is today.
Now, Gleeso, I really commend Alan Tudge here. That was Triple J. It's a tough going for a Conservative, but he's prepared to get out there and have the fight, take the haters on, the people that hate Australia, and making the point that this is not what mainstream Australia thinks about their country, wants to see in the curriculum. I think more strength to his arm, and I think more ministers need to get out there and take up the fight on some of these cultural issues.
Yeah, and plaudits to Alan Tudge for fronting up on Triple J, because as we know, that's part of the ABC, which of course is part of the, you know, Greens Labor Party get up troika, which is, you know, very much anti-Australian. And, you know, it's a real concern though, I think, when you think about who's running Triple J, how they operate, what their agenda is, and the blowback that you saw then from Alan Tudge, which just goes to show and reinforce what's going on in academia in this country. The 18 to 23-year-olds in this country have been completely brainwashed, and when they come out, they listen to Triple J, which reinforces what they've heard at university. It's a real concern. It's a real concern for Australia because, as I said, they are being brainwashed, particularly on these emotive subjects like Australia Day, you know, the Me Too movement, all that sort of stuff. I think it's a real concern.
Got to leave it there. Chris Smith, Peta Credlin, and well done you, Chris Smith. You're smashing the ratings on 2GB on Weekend Radio. I saw them come out this week. Congratulations to you.